Well, welcome everybody. We're just waiting for Ian to arrive. Ian is having technical difficulties, but so we're waiting for. We'll just say hello to everyone. Hello, Jacko. Hello, Howard and Manny. We'll go through your comments a bit later. Yeah.
Good evening, Ian. How are you going?
Yeah, good mate. How are you?
Not too bad. And just wanted to plug Ian's comments. I haven't looked at his One Finite Planet, his website, for a while, and man, that guy's busy. He's writing a lot of stuff about BYD that's unbelievable. If BYD read all that stuff, they'd learn a lot about their car, I think, and what people are want improved in their cars. So let's hope we can make a difference, and that's what we're here to do. And hopefully, we can get better cars out of our little presentations we're doing.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank everybody who's on here at the moment. We've got 32 people at the moment. Yeah, that's pretty.
It's not bad for a little backyard job.
Let's just do a bit of a background briefing firstly. So I think everybody who's listening, everybody who's got a BYD vehicle, all think the BYD vehicle's great. Chris and I were talking a bit before about how BYD is going as far as sales and that goes, and we do feel that there is some restriction of their sales because of the user interface and the software. And I think we'll all agree that there's not a lot that they need to do, but there is some things that they need to do. Would you agree with that, Ian? How does Chris?
Yeah, look. As you said, I don't think anybody who's bought the Atto Free is disappointed in the car, but we are disappointed in the software. I think the software can be improved a lot, and with over-the-air updates, it can happen. It's just a matter of just giving these guys some motivation and making them realize that they can make a more saleable product if they can improve the software and the user experience in regards to servicing and things like that. So let's hope we make a difference.
Yeah, so let's just have a look at a couple of simple ones. The one that I would like to talk about first, and then we'll talk about others as well, is a simple one, and that's the user-defined sound. So at the moment you're driving along and you don't know what it is that it's beeping about. So if they could change the sound so that when you're over the speed limit, there's a particular sound that you recognise, and there's if you exit the lane, there's a particular sound, and the seatbelt there's a particular sound. That's one thing I'd like. What do you think of that, Ian? Chris?
Yeah, look, I probably bundle that into something more along the line of improving the software in the car. So as well as the audio issues, I really think that they can, after seeing the BYD seal the binnacle, the display, and looking at my Atto Free display, I think, oh man, I'm really disappointed in what they've done in the Atto Free, because the colors are wrong. The green against the blue, you can't read it when you wear sunglasses. The writing's so small, and it just needs a whole redesign. I think they could really improve that area of the car, as well as, luckily the BYD Atto Free, I don't have as many beeps and bonks as my car. I don't know what I've done to it, but it hardly makes any noises. I must be a good driver, but yeah.
You don't speed and you drive straight, mate.
Yeah, but when I went for a test drive in the seal, the bloody thing wouldn't stop making noises, and I'm thinking, man, do I really want to buy this car? So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's yeah. But, so just getting back to the screen, where one of the biggest criticisms I get when I talk to owners, and I talk to a lot of owners, is the green on green. Yeah, the size of the speed, and the size of the speed limit, and the size of the incorrect range to go. This huge range, which is wrong. I think the screen is used as a final pixel. So I can't see why they can't just change it.
Yeah, look. When it comes to range estimation, I don't trust that thing one little bit. So the way I've always worked it out is I do 200 Ks on the first 50% charge, and then I do another 100 Ks. I'm probably around 25%, and I'm looking 300 Ks. I'm looking for a charger, and that's the way I work it out. Because
but what I'm getting at is they've got incorrect information in big writing, and that you wouldn't even look at. I mean, how often do you worry about your range? And information that you need to look at all the time in small writing. And I think that they should be able to change that, because it's just a pixel definable screen, I'm sure.
look,
that's one of the biggest criticisms that I hear, and I hear from a lot of owners. Do you agree with that one?
Yeah, look, I think Australians in general were pretty forgiving when it comes to these cars. We didn't have much choice about what was. If you wanted to buy an EV, it's either Tesla or BYD, and if you didn't want to fork out more than 50,000, then you had to buy the Atto free. But now, when they're selling these cars in Europe, I don't think they're going to be as forgiving as us. I think they're going to look at the software and go, "No, I ain't buying that. I don't know anything about BYD. I'm not buying that car."
So I've just had a question. I just saw it up here. Is this conversation about just Attos, or no? It's about BYD in general. So it's about the Dolphins and the Seals and the Atto 3s. And Paul, I do agree that we had a Paul up here just saying the fonts are too small. Yes, that's what we were talking about. The fonts are far too small.
So have you announced to everyone what your future's going to be, Ian, or in relation to cars?
Ian, how you going? How you going? Can you say something so I hear you?
Hello there.
Yes, welcome back.
We got Ian. So Ian, we've started. We went a bit slow to start with because obviously we were waiting for the brains of the operation. But we've talked so far about the little screen on the Atto, and how much better the Seal is as far as that screen goes. Although you can't see the screen very well, because if you move your steering up, you can't see it all. But some of it got a heads-up display. So that's all we've really spoken about so far.
Right.
Would you like to say what you feel as far as what needs to be done?
Well, where to start? I think fine to let you start, but I mean, with the screen, it's it depends on where things are going. There's some suggestion that there's a complete new version of software coming at some point. I mean, the whole way, as I understand it, software's been done with the cars we have in Australia at the moment, is it's very much an adaptation of off-the-shelf software. And there's a program to replace it with sort of ground-up BYD software, which, from what I'd seen, was supposed to roll out in the very first vehicle at the start of this month. Which is
so are you saying the whole software is going to be a rewrite?
No, the software of the vehicle control is a rewrite. The ADAS and all that system is a rewrite. So the current ADAS is based on a system they just bought, as far as I could see. Okay. But they have their own system that they've been working on.
Okay. So where have you heard this in?
That was on Car News China.
So you're saying to us, Ian, that we might be complaining about nothing. They might bring out a whole better version of a more integrated version of the software for BYD and the Seal.
Yeah, as far as the ADAS goes.
Yeah, just the ADAS.
That's the
I don't think ADAS. Yeah, I don't think ADAS is much of a problem in the Atto 3. And I think now that they've brought out that 2401 software for the Seal, I think it's much improved. But
well, it doesn't do much.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't try and drag you off the road.
It doesn't try to drag you off the road, which is a big positive, but it doesn't really, it doesn't do much as far as other than an adaptive cruise control.
Oh, okay. So really, yeah.
So I mean, it's really limited to adaptive cruise control. There's a bit of steering assistance, but it's not like you can let it steer itself other than on a pretty straight highway.
Yeah, that doesn't. From the feedback that I've had, people do complain about that, but there's lots of other things that there's a problem. For example, the app. You can only have the app on one phone. So if you've got a wife, she can't have the phone as well. Have a phone as well to access the car.
Yeah, well, the whole phone app is another area where it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, the very fact that you can't use the phone is a key in practice, because the system requires both car and phone to have mobile data to do anything. So if you ever any risk of either of them failing to get mobile data, then you're going to be locked out if you're using the phone as a key.
Yeah, but all they need to do is to activate Bluetooth.
Bluetooth or even NFC.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Either one of them they could do as a
or both.
Yeah, or both.
Yeah.
If you can have the mobile data running in the background without it being too much of an imposition on power consumption or anything, then you can certainly have Bluetooth running in the background.
And just while I'll let Chris get a word in this, but while we're talking about things like the phone, we're talking about internet. They give you 2 gigs of data, great. There's no option to get more. So if you're somebody who wants to use more, they want to use, for some reason, you can't do it. They've got incredible cameras, but you can't see the cameras on your phone. I mean, it's things like that people complain about as well.
Yeah, they haven't been a software company as far as the software for the cars go. I mean, Tesla very much prides itself on being a software company. BYD just doesn't really, or hasn't. But they're supposedly changing as far as that goes.
Yeah.
So was that, Chris?
Let's hope that changes in the future, because I think that they've got so much more. They can improve the car so much when it comes to software. And I think a company that makes this many cars has got to be able to make good software. I think haven't they got 1 million engineers in China, Ian? How many?
It's a huge number. I've seen the number.
100,000 it was. 100,000 engineers.
I don't think it's 1 million, but it might even be 100,000. It's a huge number of engineers.
Yeah.
You do worry about the idea of, you have someone digging a hole and then you throw 3 people in, and it's, if we throw 100 people in.
Yeah.
So you do worry about that. So yeah, there was an article on CNEV Post, BYD to launch high-level smart driving feature at end of March, it said, which really March 30th, so basically the beginning of April. So the N7 was to get it first.
So who was to get it first?
20+ models to get the new feature.
Yeah, I did actually read something about that, but I wasn't sure if the software in the Addo was advanced enough to take that. Was that in the list, or was a seal in the list?
Yeah, they're basically all in the list.
20 plus models. That's nearly the whole range. So
it's a lot of them. It's a lot of the models. Yeah. Of the current models, and it's pretty much all the current models. So it's not just the ones with LiDAR or something like that, because I'm not sure if the N7, I haven't checked it. They have some models with LiDAR. And I mean, they do have far more advanced software in the U8, of course. Have you seen a picture of the driver screen for the U8?
I didn't really take much notice, but that's the 4-wheel drive one, is it?
That's the
big
four-wheel
four-wheel
drive.
Yeah,
The
yeah. The
sort of-
swimmer.
The Yang Wang, yeah, the swimmer, yes. But the that if you see footage of it and it's on trade show floors, and on the screen, it's got a, you know how on the screen of the Steel or the Atto you get
That's a really wide
one car in front of you. What's
So
that?
what?
You get one
Okay.
car in front, a picture of one car in front of you, and it's just whether it's a car or not, a motorcycle or whatever, it's just that. You get a reconstructed picture of all the people around the car and how they're moving and which way they're facing, the whole thing. So there'll be 30 people around the car, and it's tracking the movement of everyone and what they're doing, like the arms and everything.
Yeah.
Now it's got LiDAR, but still, you don't.
So,
I mean,
so getting back. So getting back to what we've got here, I suppose.
Yep.
So we've got the app which has problems.
Yep.
Well, not so much problems, but areas that could easily be improved.
Yeah.
And this was my point, is that there are other car manufacturers. BMW, Mercedes, Kia, Hyundai. They're all going hell bent for leather. Coming up with new cars and EVs with their software. So I mean, the lead that BYD had could easily be kind of eroded away because you've got the app which people can relate to, and they can easily understand, what needs to improve those out there. We've got people up here. I've just been reading some of these comments up here where people have been driving along and have been scared because the car kind of veers. So therefore you've got control.
That's all the ADAS. Yeah.
You've got control issues, and the other problem is you've got information coming back. Be it too small to read, be it in the wrong place, be it inaccurate. So these are the three areas that probably need to be looked at. And I think what we as, we're all owners or we're owners or whatever, we need to give feedback back to BYD. And that's what I'd really like to do. I'd like to be putting some sort of an online, web thing together where people actually kind of say, I want this fix, this fix, this fix, so that BYD can get some feedback, because we are owners and we should have some say, surely. Shouldn't we?
Well, I don't know about say, but
input.
If you don't listen to owners, that's not good marketing. They have a good channel of feedback running in seem to have a better feedback channel running in New Zealand than they do here, strangely enough. The fellow EVs and Beyond gets to, I don't know if you've had any interaction with him. He's a good source of information, and he gets to talk to them and talk to actual engineers that you don't seem to get access to here.
No.
One of the things would be to open some form of access channel to get some point of contact that will deal with a point of contact for users here or members here, that if we had some sort of group and there could be a representative of it, even if they are based in Queensland, because some of the customer service centres are based in Queensland, then and open a channel to get the communication flowing. But
So Jacko Green just put up I think, when will they implement an Australian user group to feed back to BYD? That's what we need to get together.
Well, maybe take the initiative to take it to them to have one.
So all you people out there, what do you all think as far as putting together a BYD user group? And this wouldn't be a group to just complain; it'd be a group for feedback, wouldn't it, either, Chris?
Yeah, look, if I was BYD, I'd be trying to take the good criticism on board, but I think sometimes Facebook gets a bit out of control when it comes to complaining and stuff. And at the end of the day, all we're asking for is if we could have some better customer service as well, because I don't think as customer service company BYD is doing too well in that regard. And I've heard, even your example, Ian. I don't know if you
so some of you may or may not know, but I decided to buy a Tesla Highland just until the C line came out. Anyway, so I drove it to Sydney, and I put the cruise control on and the lane keeping, and it was horrible. I mean, it kept failing. I mean, it was just the worst experience I ever had. So I didn't use it all the way down. And when I got to Sydney, what I did is I went online and I went to Tesla, and I booked a service for when I came back. And I said the problem is that the lane keeping's not working very well. Well, the next day I'll get a phone call. I said, Tesla service centre here, or whatever. I said, oh yeah, okay. It said you booked in for next Monday. I said, yeah, that's correct. I said, well, look, we've been online, we've looked at your car, and there's nothing wrong with it. How do you? Then they went through, and it turned out I was doing it wrong, which is probably an annoying thing. But they'd actually got online, looked at my car. This was the next day.
And I've never heard anything like that happen with BYD. And I keep a good eye on the forums, and that level of service doesn't exist with BYD, I would have to say. And I think we need that sort of level of service. It'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, I mean, that was...
BYD customer service is an oxymoron.
Yeah, I said that to someone today, actually. Customer service, BYD customer service is an oxymoron. I said that today.
But I don't know if you guys heard, but I heard BYD mentioned they're going to open a huge amount of stores in Sydney within the next 12 months, and that's 50 plus in Australia. 50 plus showrooms, or whatever it might be, 50 plus showrooms, something like that in the next 12 months. I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to see that. I don't know, what are they coming from now? There's not less than 10 now, isn't it? Around 10, 15.
Things are set to change. Hopefully, the question is whether it'll be for the better. They're supposed to bring out 4 models this year, which at this stage are all going to arrive in the second half of the year if they arrive at all.
What are the 4 models?
The 4 models are, well, you've already mentioned the C line is supposed to come.
Is it still coming?
Well, I haven't heard anything otherwise.
It's going to be an incredible car.
And the Seal U, both of those being DMI vehicles.
Sorry, what?
One, no one knows that I've heard.
So what sort of vehicle are they?
They're DMI. They're plug-in hybrids, basically.
Well, the C line as well.
No, not the C line. The Seal U, which is about the size of the C line, but it's a plug-in hybrid, and the Ute. Now, the Ute will come, in theory, next year as a pure EV, but this year as a plug-in hybrid.
Yeah, so a bit more information.
Now, these plug-in hybrids, I think they're going for volume with them. I think they're going for serious market share.
So we had where did it go? Had Deborah Morris say that she hasn't had a problem with BYD service. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're completely useless, but maybe I am.
Look, everybody has some people have a good experience, some people have bad experience. It depends on the day, really. I mean, but what we want to see is 80% of people having good experiences, and we want to see them commenting on Facebook groups that I had a great experience when I had my car service, but that doesn't seem to happen. But yeah, well, look, I'm prepared.
The trouble is a great experience when you have your car serviced is mostly sort of not much to talk about.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, I had an issue with my 803, and it was the telling you whether there's a vehicle next to you or not. You know, what's that called? You know what I mean? It wasn't working, and I turned it off. I disconnected the battery. I did all sorts of things, and I took it up to the service centre up in Brisbane, and they were fantastic. I mean, they got it going. They told me what was wrong with it, and that was pretty early on in my experience with 803. So I found that really good. However, then I also went to the organisation which is not owned by BYD, but is a third-party organisation that does all the services. Do you know the company I'm talking about? Obviously,
My
car, yeah. And they had no idea. You were talking a little while ago about opening up 50 sales centres. I went to the one in Sydney because it's supposed to have this really big one down there when I went to Sydney. And I was terribly disappointed because the salespeople had no idea anything about the car.
Hold on. So you went to, where did you go?
So it's the one near Mascot.
Yeah, there's a sales centre and there's a separate service centre.
No, this was a sales centre. It's supposed to be the big one. It had all the
the big sales centre. They have a couple of robots rolling around.
Yeah, that one with free drinks and all that. Yeah, so that's
people don't seem to know anything. But I actually had very good conversation with the service centre, which is about 2 blocks away.
Yeah, the service centre, not the My Car, the BYD service centre. They do know their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one. I don't know how this one works because it seems very different from the normal service centres, which are just dealers. But there is that service centre down at Mascot. It's actually Mascot. I think the sales centre is technically Alexandria or something.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
While Ian's gone, let's talk about hybrids. So CLU, I think next month it's going to be released on the market. So yeah, I think they're going to announce it. There probably won't be deliveries until, like you said, second half of this year for the CLU.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because they've now got their fifth. They're rolling out through their production with their 5th generation DMI technology, which they're now claiming, a vehicle like the CLU can get 2,000 kilometres of range, and even when the battery's depleted, it gets 3 litres per 100 kilometres consumption.
Yeah. But did you see, Ian, that they've been beaten to the chase because they've got the Tank 500. I don't know if you've had a look at that one. That's an amazing hybrid car that's just come out.
Which one's that?
Tank, TANK.
Oh, the Tank.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. That's got over 250 kilowatts power from a 2-litre motor and an electric, it's a hybrid, of course, but over 250 kilowatts. It does like 0 to 100 in less than 8 seconds, and it's 3 ton. So, like a Prado.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically speaking, the U8 does 0 to 100 in 3 seconds, and it's about 3 tons as well.
Yeah. So
it's got a 2-litre range extender, but it's really, and the rate. I mean, you don't get the acceleration from the acceleration is irrelevant from the fossil fuel engine. It does nothing for the acceleration. It's all electric.
Yeah.
All their fossil fuel engine does is keep up the charge on an ongoing basis, and you use several hundred kilowatts accelerating, but you never use more than 30 kilowatts maintaining your speed at the most extreme circumstances. On average.
Are we getting off the subject a bit, guys?
We were. You went away.
We know you don't like hybrids.
Oh, no, hang on. It's not that I don't like hybrids or plug-in. It's not that at all. My argument is BYD has positioned themselves in Australia, only in Australia, similar to that of Tesla, and that is we are an EV company. So one of the things that that separates BYD from MG and all the others is that BYD in Australia, and I agree that they're different over in China, specialise in EVs, and they say we are here for EVs, and then they go and bring out a plug-in hybrid.
Yeah, the plug-in hybrids though are, I mean, it's all degrees, but they're ground up EVs with a bolted-on range extender, basically. So, and the biggest question about them is that in China they're positioning them that they can make them cheaper than other companies can make an ICE vehicle. So they're not an ICE with an added-on electric motor system, because that would be more expensive, right?
So we've got to get back onto the subject of the issues with BYD.
But the only relevance of this really is that if they're going to come here and go after this bigger market, because at the moment in Australia, 90% of buyers of new vehicles bought, are still petrol cars. And if they bring in their plug-in hybrids to really hit that market and are going to scale up, then they have to fix their act for everything. So the relevance is how much they're going to scale up. And at least half the vehicles they bring this year will be very volume-focused vehicles trying to attack that petrol engine car market by offering something cheaper, even though it's basically electrically powered with a sort of top-up supply little engine.
So statistics. I just got the figures for EV sales for March. 1 in 10 vehicles in Australia sold, 1 in 10 are full EVs.
Yeah, I said there's 10% EVs at the moment, 90%.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to know that you're right.
Too. At the end of the year, it won't be that anymore. It'll be 20% EVs by the end of the year.
Well, no,
it's
getting very political, but and that might mess things up a bit. But anyway, let's get back onto. Get back onto BYD?
Yeah. So if BYD are going to scale up, that's the point. If they're going to scale up, they have to fix the customer service.
Okay.
And all these vehicles use the same systems: phone app, ADAS, all the things that are a pain for us are shared between all of their vehicles.
So just going back to what you were saying about customer service, people can easily think that customer service is about something breaks and you take it to get it fixed. Customer service really is customer interaction, and it's the experience of using the car, and that comes back to the user interface. It comes back to the control systems and all that. And I think that's when you're talking about customer service, you're talking about the overarching user experience, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. And their system of getting feedback is part of it, which is what we're trying to focus on tonight, is how do we get feedback to them, collecting the feedback, and how do we get it to them. And I mean, I think you've sort of nailed it fairly well in that there's the ADAS group of things, there's a user interface of the car group of things. What were the others? The app is a big one, but it's almost 1/4 of the things wrong is almost the things that could be fixed by the app.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is just go quickly through some of the things that need to be done. Then I'd like to go through people's comments and talk to, because this should be interactive. But I'll just go through these very quickly to see whether you agree or don't agree. This one is adjusting sound volume. So you get bips and bops, we know that. But you should be able to adjust the sound. You should be able to have high, low, medium, or even turn it off. You agree with that?
The sound.
The sound.
It's almost by alert that you'd want to do that. I mean, there's sounds for so many things, and one of the other problems is, of course, they use the same sound for so many different things too.
Oh, before you came on, I had this one here to have user-defined sounds, so different sounds for different things. Yep.
Well, if you could use it to define them, maybe you could set the level as well.
Yeah, that's true. The other is a phone app. So that's the multi-driver as key location and view cameras. And then we've got, this is my favourite. One pedal driving. I thought it would be horrible, but it's actually really good. I mean, it depends, I suppose. Cruise control. When you set the cruise control,
novelty. I don't find it. I mean, it's a good novelty and it's this differentiator, but you know, and technically it's less efficient, but the difference is so small it doesn't matter. And I mean, realistically, if things are going well, you're using cruise control a lot of the times when it would make a difference anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you could have, there's no reason. Tesla used to have it, but it was optional. Now they've made it so it's not optional. So all they've got to do is just turn the regenerative braking right up. We'll just go through this quickly.
Well, one pedal driving isn't just regenerative braking. It's actually it's mostly the difference between one pedal driving and full on regenerative braking is the automatic friction braking, because a regenerative braking won't stop you. It won't bring the car to a stop. Regenerative braking only works when you're getting energy out. When you're getting energy out of what it's doing.
I spoke wrong. I know what you said.
Once you get to about 3 miles an hour or 5 kilometres an hour,
Chris has got me here, mate.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think the point is that people want one pedal driving.
Yeah.
So why don't they bring out the software and just give them bloody one pedal driving? Then they'll stop complaining.
Well,
So
there is a problem with accident rate. There is a thing where there's some correlation with accident rate.
What is that?
And I mean, for example, I have a daughter who drives the EV, and I wouldn't want her as a new driver driving with one pedal driving, because there's too little practice on the reflex of switching to the brake pedal, because there's not one pedal drive. There's no one pedal driving. There's only mostly one pedal driving. Because you don't want it to do the absolute emergency stop every time you lift off. Yet you still need that emergency stop. So you still need the brake pedal for the emergency stop. Now,
can we just park that? Can we park Ian? Ian, can we just park that? Can we park that for a second and come back to it? Okay, cruise control. When you set the cruise control, it'd be good if you could have it that it sets it to the speed limit.
Yeah. Set it to the speed limit. Well, the other one is it'd be good if it could work out school zones.
Yeah, we go
for the speed limit. Well, the school zones are what they are. It's going to be a mess.
Exactly. The other is cruise control, 1 kilometre increments.
Yes.
And the pedestrian sound. What's happened to that? Has that been turned off now?
Yeah, I plugged my speaker back in. I didn't get anything out of it, so there's nothing there.
But
I unplugged mine too.
I unplugged the speakers. I don't know either, but I thought there was a setting you could turn it on or off now.
Yeah, there probably is, but I haven't looked. So I'm not.
Unless it's gone.
Okay, so the next one is infotainment. To the SIM, allow an increase in the SIM. Did you know that you can put a second SIM in?
No.
You can. You can. I must do a video on that. And the support swap.
Why won't that answer the problems of bandwidth?
Well, that would, but whether BYD, so you can physically do it, but I'm not sure. But it's not supported. It comes back to the support side loading. BYD won't support side loading, but there's absolutely nothing that a side loading can do to hurt the car. Wireless CarPlay, a lot of people want that, and Android Play. So that's for those who don't know. That allows you. It's like the app store for the iPhone. Just have so you can just download Android software. And the dash.
By the way, I said about brake lights and one pedal driving. I mean, you got to think one pedal driving is basically like a cruise control that when you take your foot off, it says, "Oh, set the speed to 0." it still brakes with the friction brake. It still does the brake lights just as your cruise control does. It does everything that your cruise control does.
Sure.
Anyway, so just sorry for that diversion. It was just on the comments.
That's fine.
Sorry, back on the.
I drove the other day for quite a distance with one pedal driving. Didn't touch the brake once.
Yeah,
anyway,
you can drive most of the time not touching the brake, but the danger is that if you go weeks without touching the brake and you're not a driver as experienced as you, who's learnt that reflex of the brake pedal over years and years, what builds up the brake pedal reflex?
Okay, it does make sense. I must admit, it does make sense. But this little black duck likes one pedal driving.
Yeah. No, look, it's fun, but it's something different. But I don't know that it's, as I say, I'm sort of, I like the idea of giving people options, but there is this question that there are stats that Teslas are involved in more accidents than other cars. And some people have put that down to one pedal driving, meaning that people get this unintended acceleration, not because the car does something wrong, because they hit the wrong pedal.
Okay. So I'm sorry I put that up there. Dashboard redesign. The speed needs to be bigger and it needs to be in a different font and a different colour. The speed limit, the cruise control and the lane control all need redesign. I mean, it's really hard to know when you got lane control going. It's hard to know whether you're 3 cars behind or 5 cars behind. That's and last thing is that range prediction. Ian, you're a mathematician. If I was to say to you that you've used 10 kilowatts of power for the last 100 and you've got 50 kilowatts left, do you reckon you can work out how far you've got to go?
Well, the problem is, will the road for the next 50 be the same as the road so far? Is a bit.
But just like
you need route guidance that has data from the map in front of you, and then you've got a better chance.
Yeah. So that app that people use, Better Route Planner, ABRT, right?
Yeah.
So they now support BYD.
They've supported BYD for ages.
No, they haven't. Not for their route. No, for their OBD2. So if you're an OBD2 thing, it will see how much you've got left, and it will work on that as well.
Right.
And it will build up a you got to have it plugged in all the time, and you got to have it running all the time. So it's a bit of a pain as far as that goes. But if they can do it, BYD should be able to do it, surely. Yes.
And I mean, they're not really trying on that one. They're not really trying on, the whole route planning option. That, goes and looks and works out where you should charge and all the rest of it.
So I remember back in the 90s when I had a Hyundai Sportswagon, I think it was, and it would I could press a button, it could tell me how far I've got to go and the amount of petrol I had. And
it still was not accurate, but
okay, it probably wasn't 100% accurate, but it was a damn sight better than not even close.
Coming back to what you said, Ian, about the software, I have noticed other Chinese cars that have very similar software to what BYD using. I think you're absolutely right about it being an off-the-shelf.
It's a bunch of off-the-shelf stuff stitched together. I mean, you know why there's 3 front cameras?
Because I looked at
tied to a separate software system.
Yeah, I looked at that Tank 500, and it's very similar software, very similar 3D cameras, very similar. Everything is like bought from the same shop, which is a little disappointing for a car company that sells how many million cars a year? 1 million, over 1 million cars a year. So a little disappointed.
Now.
Okay, let's go through some of these.
That's been the tradition in the car industry, though. You rely on suppliers for things, and Bosch has done a lot of the software for a lot of these people. But as a company, they don't do it in the hardware game.
Yeah.
And they're supposedly switching away from doing it in the software game. You know, this whole thing of they've got a big project to get on top of software and they've realized they're wrong. Well, the question is when we'll see fruition of it, or even whether we'll see fruition of it, or, you know, are they only going to target newer cars?
Yeah.
So that comes back to software development and incremental improvement and all that sort of stuff. It's a software engineering problem, and they should have software engineers that can do. I mean,
Well, it was almost that they decided software wasn't their department.
but you can't separate it.
Yeah. I mean, how do you, you know, you can't do electrical engineering without doing software anymore. You can't even do the inside of chip design without having a really good awareness of software. So, you know, so they've had the people with the awareness, but it just hasn't been their department to write those systems. And it's a matter of what comes forward. But I mean, all we can do is push for the things that need improving. And one of the questions is, do we focus on one area and try and get them to do that, or do we hit them with everything?
Yeah. Okay. So let's have a look.
Yeah.
So
Just goes back to another thing about BYD in Australia. You don't hear anything of him. There's a new CEO in the company, and I don't think I've heard anything from him since he's took over. It's just very quiet. And
when you say BYD, hold on. When you say BYD in Australia, who the new CEO took over from who?
From Luke Todd. EV Direct. Luke Todd,
Right.
And there's a new guy that's taken his position.
Right.
But like you said, we hear more from New Zealand than what we hear from Australia, and we're a much bigger market than they are, and we get nothing.
Not only that, supposedly the same supply chain goes to both.
Yeah.
But in fact, it goes through Australia to get there. I mean, it still reports to BYD Australia.
Mm.
Now, that's BYD Australia, not Luke Todd's mob. What's the guy from
EV.
from BYD Australia? What's his name? Chinese guy, anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, he was in Melbourne.
Yeah. Oh, there's this other guy in Melbourne as well who, and it's exactly what he does. I don't know. I've even spoken to the guy and haven't worked out exactly how he fits in. You hear his description, and it sounds like he'd be running everything. But I mean, he's also, you know, he's not technically BYD. He's in the company that does the agency for the cars division. And you wonder whether, I mean, people say, oh, if you deal with Mercedes or something, you deal with Mercedes. You don't really. You deal with a dealership that's owned by a group. The same sort of thing applies, but you'd wish BYD had taken a bigger role. BYD themselves would take a bigger role. I mean, they've got that great big office in Macquarie Park.
Yeah. I just I don't know.
Okay, we've got to start looking at some of these comments now.
Yep.
So my solution to all the problems is allow whatever function is annoying to be turned off.
Yeah, I do love a quiet car.
Sorry?
I do love a quiet car. I can't stand any of that beeping stuff. I hate it. So yeah, Addo-free, I've managed to get it really quiet. The only time it annoys me when it goes for a bloody roundabout. So.
Oh, okay. Should try going through a roundabout in a Tesla with when they don't have the blinker stalks on. That's another story. And then allow settings to be set that way for each drive. That is, it remembers the last settings.
Yes.
I think, yeah. Like I said, I don't have many problems with my Addo-free, and I never touch the settings, and it never beeps at me. So I think I've mastered it. I don't know how I did it.
I had an experience just the other day, just a couple of days ago, where I was driving along 60 kilometres an hour on an urban 2-lane road, and a car just pulled out of this service station to turn right across the front of me. He was obviously he was trying to fit into a lane of traffic on the other side of the road, and he was watching that. He just pulled out right in front of me, and I thought that there was no way I was going to be able to stop in time. But the car kicked in and did its role and triggered the hazards and everything to warn the people behind of the emergency stop, and participated in the braking and everything. Did a very good job.
I had a very similar experience with my 803 as well. It saved me, that's for sure. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, look, I reckon the autonomous emergency braking saved me 3 times from accidents. I have no qualms about it coming on accidentally, because I know it works, and it's gonna save me more than I can complain about it. So
okay, Howard Keynes, the issues he has is small screen in front of the drivers. I think we all have that. The green hard to read. I agree with that. I'd like to see cruise control being able to set speeds in 1 kilometre.
By the way, how have you gone with this? So I found it really hard to read the screen in front of the driver there too.
I think we're all must be young people probably don't
I couldn't
have that.
see the screen in front of the driver, in fact.
Try wearing sunglasses. That's really good.
So the screen in front of which driver?
When you're in a Tesla,
Tesla.
in a Model 3.
There isn't one.
No trouble seeing the screen in front of the driver.
There isn't one. There isn't one. Yes, absolutely. That's a big problem with the Teslas. Totally agree. It's stupid. I don't know why it isn't. They really need a heads-up display as well. But anyway, we're not talking about Tesla.
Tesla is designed for the fact that it was supposed to have full self-driving by now, in which case who'd care?
Yeah.
And hopefully soon it will have, and then it won't be a problem.
It won't have self-driving. I think, anyway. Android Auto does not connect. I didn't know that. And he goes on to say, it suddenly slows down after seeing a car parked on the side of the road. Yeah, well, I think we've all experienced that. G'day, I'd like to see less steps in order to effect change in an item. So I think what he's saying is that, there should be some process that allows feedback back to BYD. Yeah, I agree with that. Oversensibility, yeah. It's hard to adjust. Do you follow that, what he's saying there, Chris?
Lane keep settings. So I assume he's talking about when the car's on cruise control or whatever it is, or autonomous cruise control, where it hits the sides of the lanes a bit. Is that
it jerks back? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just Look, the only time I ever use that is when I'm on a freeway and it's a straight road. I've had it. I tested it out one time going around a really tight corner. And, it didn't like it. It did not like it. Yeah, it tried to pull me off the road. So I thought that.
I don't think my way of thinking, it's lane keeping is only ever lane assist. You can't really track the lane.
Yeah.
Full stop.
So often fails to see speed signs leaving a car park with 10 kilometre speed. It says this for the screen until the next screen sign play. That's true. There's 2 other issues too with the ADO and the seal and that. And that is when it goes through a school zone at 2 o'clock in the morning or at 12 o'clock at night, it tells you that it's only 40 speed limit, and also tells you there's a speed camera there.
Yeah, that's if you use the onboard maps. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've got a better one. Tesla's worse. So when you're driving on a freeway on a Tesla, now you have the off-ramp, and the off-ramp, you're sitting on 110, you've got an off-ramp at 60, you're going along and suddenly the Tesla says, beep, 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 you've gone over the speed limit, it's only 60 along here. You've got to put up with that.
You also have the one where you've got a truck with a speed limit sign on the back.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. Is that right?
I've seen that one. I haven't experienced it in a BYD, but I've seen it in different cars. And there are buses also with speed limit signs on them in some states too.
Yeah, look, they're going to have to think about these types of systems now, they're going to have to start putting 40k speed limits on the back of buses, because it's going to confuse all this new technology.
Well, no, not really. I mean, the technology's just got to get better. I mean, it needs to be combined with AI.
I didn't think it got confused with that, because I thought it knew the difference between a speed sign that was stationary and a speed sign that was moving. They shouldn't be hard to do.
It's not hard to do, because it does have that, but it needs to track a lot more. It needs to recognize a lot more of the world around it in order to make these systems not patchy. I mean, they're just sort of working on little clues as to what the world is at the moment. Yeah. And the technology is there to do a lot more. I mean, remember that, Tesla is working its attempt at self-driving, and it's getting further and further, and it's working totally off cameras that are not any better than the ones on the seal or the Atto.
Oh, the cameras are nowhere near as good as the BYD cameras. Nowhere near as good. They're that's one of the biggest criticisms. That's one of the biggest criticisms I have.
They haven't improved. Have you got what have you got the very latest?
I've got the Highland. I've got the Highland, and no, the cameras are very good.
Right.
Yeah, so it's more integrating AI. Again, the software has to be more AI integration, so we can decide that, okay, that's a 40k sign on the back of the bus, I'm going to disregard that. But that's a 40k sign on a pole on the side of a road. That's what I've got to list. That's what I've got to
this one's on an exit ramp. I mean, to do that, you really need to recognize what is an exit ramp. Now, the software in the car at the moment is a long way from recognizing that road off there is an exit ramp.
So under the road use management thing, and I know this because I was involved in it, is you can't have different speeds for different lanes. So how they differentiate the lane that's going off on the off ramp is they have to have a physical barrier between the highway and the off ramp.
Yeah, it only applies once there's a physical separation of the road.
And that it wouldn't be hard for the camera to see a physical
You'd think
barrier.
So. One of the rules of AI and robotics, that things that are easy for humans tend to be the things that are really hard for AI. That road, that's not road in the middle, is not that easy for it.
You'll be amazed what you can do with AI. I was showing I was showing Chris before on that, but okay, I accept that. I accept that.
I mean, the processing that we do, the most intelligent things that we do that are really hard for AI. It's like, you give a numeric calculation and a calculator can do it. And there are things that AI can do, and even robots physically can do. Like you get this robot that can do a somersault really easily, but they can't run. There's the things that we learn, and mostly about recognizing the world around us, is amazing. You look at just a photo of a desk or something, you know how far away everything is. There's no 3D perception to do it. You have to, when we look at things, we turn everything into this set of objects rather than a set of pixels. And that is just enormous processing for AI to do. And
so they tell us how they can recognize people's faces.
Yeah,
but they can't recognize the barrier?
Well, the software in the car is like, first off, it's got to work out it's a face, and it has a lot of it can't just do that at random. If it's in the right position, it sort of assumes it's a face, it gets there and recognizes faces. But I don't think the Atto 3 has any software to recognize faces.
So I wasn't suggesting that. All we're trying to do is to get it to be accurate when it's reading the speed signs. Chris, you got someone who agrees with all your comments, mate.
And thanks, John Craig. Yeah, look, we're just trying.
This meeting is about the Atto and the seal.
Well, it should apply to the dolphin as well, shouldn't it? Pretty much.
Didn't I say that?
You said the Atto and the seal.
Oh, sorry. What was it? And the Dolphin.
Yeah.
The Dolphin's a great little car. I was very impressed with it. It goes like a rocket. The fonts are way too small. Yeah, Paul, we certainly can read that one.
It seems to be everybody agrees with that.
The colouring, as you pointed out before, Ian, the colouring, it breaks the rules of, there's this thing that the central part of your eye has no blue dot sensors, so the edges have to be the right colours or you can't read them properly. Your eyes have to look away. And they have those wrong colour transitions,
So that's used. So as you know, software, my background software, and that's user interface 101 when you design the screen. But anyway, and they got that wrong. Jennifer, yes, we all agree that the speed limit sign should be bigger.
Yeah, so hopefully what we're trying to say, what we think is happening is that they've just used off-the-shelf software. And let's hope that we get some real software that's really designed for the car. And if BYD can please do that, we'd be very happy people. And I think they'd sell more cars because I just don't think the Europeans are going to put up with what we put up with in regards to software. I just don't think they're going to sell cars in Europe if they don't improve their software. So,
some of the European cars have some amazingly bad software, by the way. BYD is scary.
Yeah. Well, at the moment, BYD doesn't seem to do well in Europe. Of course, it's price as well. But if they want to get popular, they've got to be getting up to Tesla level, I think. And
I think that VW is getting software done by Xiaomi.
Yeah.
Or shopping.
So look, I have to dispel a little bit of stuff that may not be so true. Everybody keeps saying how good the Tesla software is.
Yeah.
Go buy a Tesla and tell me that after you've been driving it for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Give us your opinion.
No. It's not the time or the place. All I'm saying is it's not as.
The grass is as green in the other paddock as your feet. Yeah.
There's lots of good things. You can see where the car is. You can have multiple people having, she could have, there
are a lot more use cases thought out, but there are a lot of problems and a lot of bugs.
Yeah, I mean, how many times do I have to turn my phone on and off for it to be a key? Things like that. Anyway, I won't go into that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's still worth trying to get a channel to get feedback, even if they're going to rewrite things, because, if when they rewrite things, it inherits the same problems. It's not my point.
Yeah. Being able to cancel cruise control without turning off or engaging the brake. Can't you do that?
So
you can turn it off completely, but then it loses the speed. There's no, like in a lot of cars with your cruise, you can sort of make it not active now without switching it off.
Yeah. So what I normally do
I know exactly. Yeah, sorry, Chris.
I normally just, when I exit, I just toggle down with the speed, so it actually slows the car down. So I toggle down maybe 5 or 6 times when I exit a motorway or something like that.
What they're asking for is the opposite of that, where they want to make it inactive for a period of time, but then when they want to resume, they want it to resume from where they were.
Yes.
Or a slower speed. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
A good comment.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at a Mercedes one, and there's an amazing number of things that BYD follow the controls of Mercedes, but they have a function to do exactly that, to turn the cruise off for the moment or to sort of deactivate it without turning it off, without switching it off.
Yeah. So
So on the reason we're talking about Tesla, one of the issues over with Tesla is you do exactly like that. You go to pull off, you disengage cruise control, and suddenly, because you've got one pedal driving, you go, you got to put your foot back on the accelerator and push it back up again. Otherwise, it's going to stop. But anyway, we're not talking about Tesla.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, Ian, that you've had the opportunity to compare the two and everybody thinks the grass, but that's not always the case.
That was the purpose of buying it in the first place, because I knew that I really didn't want a sedan, the Seal or the Model 3. I really wanted a faster Atto and a bigger Atto 3, which the Sea Line was going to do. So I thought, well, let's see how good these Teslas really are. And anyway,
you want the Z9 maybe?
No. What I want is a four-wheel drive Atto 3 with an engine at the front and an engine at the back. That'll suit me.
The Z9's too big. You know what I mean?
I don't want it too big because you've got to park it.
Yeah. You know the one I'm the Z9?
I don't know. It's not bad.
That's the Denza.
On Porsche and Ferrari.
Oh, that's the Denza. Yeah. Denza. Yeah.
Okay, scheduled charging via charger is not working. Oh, yeah, well...
scheduled charger via...
Yeah, so sometimes it's very common now to charge from 12 o'clock at midnight till 6 a.m. in the morning and pick up 8 cents per kilowatt hour. And I think Evernex is
if you're doing it by the charge control unit rather than the car, it doesn't...
I think that's what they're saying is that when you do it from the charger, it's not working. That's because the charger should be able.
The car doesn't start charging at the time. It sees that there's no power coming in, and stops looking.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's for sure. The small screen is a complete redesign.
Yeah, I mean, you might get the colours changed, but it's pretty hard to get an over-the-air update to the screen size.
I don't think I think it'd be quite easy to do because that's what I was saying before. The screen, from what I can see, the screen is just pixels and it's pixel addresses.
It's not going to get it to stretch from 6 inches to 12 over the air.
Oh no, not a bigger screen. No, my apologies. Yeah. But somebody else agrees with you, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. But actually, there's the new model Atto 3 is coming out this year. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but apparently it's going to be soon. There could be some new.
There's a slight refresh, but I don't think the new model is coming out this year.
But
the refresh is coming out with a frunk.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's a good opportunity, though, to bring something new to the table. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually bring out software.
Isn't that just simply the one that they've already got in Singapore?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But
the update.
No. You're thinking there's one in Singapore that's got a smaller motor, and the reason for that is so that they can get better registration costs.
Yeah, there is a new.
They've got an updated version in Singapore, slightly updated, but
yeah, I don't think
it's mostly that.
Yeah, but let's hope BYD can bring some nice software for us and make us all happy.
Yes,
and we won't have to whinge. So, but I don't think they're going to be able to.
Platform 4 doesn't come out till next year, though. I don't think they'll do a full update of the Atto till then.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Anyway,
UK reviews
unlock button on the passenger side door. Once again, for future models, once again, that'd be hard for an over-the-air. What we can better do about that is have the phone. So if you approach the phone on the car by Bluetooth, it can unlock if we wanted to.
Yeah. So look, we've been going now for
quite a while.
Well over an hour, and I think what we need to do now is to say, well, what are we going to do about having some sort of an input from owners to get back to BYD? What about if we set up some sort of a user group, or we don't want a place where people just complain. What we probably need to do is to have what do you think? If we have a list of things that need to, we think need to be done, and people just vote for it.
Yeah, to get votes would be good. Yep.
What do you think,
So
Chris?
I did read a lot of your Finite Planet comments or research you've done on for Addo Free, and it does cover a lot of the things in clear writing. And I think if we were able to get some people or PR people just to present some of these ideas.
Organisation and further, refinement was sort of pretty raw, but yeah, we could try and improve and get to that.
And I would love to hear what their responses are. Is a yes, a no, a maybe, it's coming. But at the moment, we get nothing. We get zero. We don't even know when the next update's going to be, or if they even want to improve the car at all. They're just happy.
Well, they want the feedback from here to do so.
Yeah. So
yeah, I think one of the biggest things would be to try and open the channel so that the feedback gets somewhere.
Yeah. So if anybody's in PR, public relations, or able to, that's not my area, to help us, I think we much appreciate any input that we can get, because we do want our cars to get better, and we know that they can get better. It's just a matter of if they have the willingness to want to try. And I think they do, but it's just a matter of helping them.
Yeah. So what we need to do is to give them confidence that we can provide feedback that's metered and not just a whole lot of complaints, that it is thought through as a channel, so that it's worth them opening the communication, so that we can present to them something that is worth talking to.
Yeah, just going through. We've got a lot of comments. We're going to have to go through these comments later, and so
if you can list the comments, we can sort of go through them. Yeah. So
is there an off-the-shelf web software that we can use for voting?
Yeah, we could probably set something up without too much trouble. Yeah, certainly.
How about we offline? We have a look at what we can do and set it up.
Yeah, I think
if there's anybody out there that can help us.
No, I even know how to do that, but yeah, to make a page that you can just register votes on.
Oh, good. Okay. Oh, that's fine. Okay, we'll do that, because what we want to do is we want to be able to go to BYD and say, these are the issues, these are the weighting that people have. So if everybody vote, if there's like say 200 people voting, and 200 people vote that they want something, and only 10 people vote that they want something else, that's what I mean by weighting. So
what we really need to do is to get someone from BYD and say, look, what format do you want it in? Yeah. We'll try and do a lot of your legwork for you.
Yeah.
Are you still friends with in E&B? You're still friends with them, or?
Yes, I am. Yeah, no, I mean, there's absolutely no issue between myself and BYD. I still
opening a new store down the road from me now in beautiful Blacktown. So I did drive past there. It's not open yet, but I'm definitely going to drop in when they're open, and it may be in a week's time. If we can have something that I can present to them, I'll be happy to pass it to them.
Sometimes the other locations aren't that well connected, but it's worth trying.
Yeah.
And it's worth trying to, okay, how do we get that connection? Use that lead to go for the connection.
So Deborah Morris says there's customer feedback is available under rescue and customer service in the BYD app. Have you seen that?
I think I have seen something about when you're broken down, tap on a tab. Let me just look on my phone now.
Jennifer McKenzie, I think she's funny. She's got here, cameras need wipers when it rains. It's true.
The front camera that does the lane keeping, etc., it's covered by the wiper area. I think the dash cam one is as well.
Mm.
The one that's used for the surround parking isn't covered by any wipers area because it's down the front. And so the same with the rear one as well. But that's a fairly common problem. And once again, it's going to be hard to fix via software.
Yeah. All right. Well,
one about three-phase charging. They do have three-phase charging. They just don't fit it to the Atto 3s in Australia, or to any of the vehicles in Australia, do they? Is it available?
No, they're all 7 kilowatt max single phase. I think there's a premium price on it, probably $1,000 option, I'd say, if they were to bring that out, because the amount of electronics required.
It doesn't cost that much, actually.
But yeah, oh well. But anyway, at the moment, they get single phase, it's three phase. So
you use, instead of one 7 kilowatt unit, you use three 3.5 kilowatt units, and that gives you the 11, and it gives you 7, basically.
I thought it had something to
do in other markets.
I thought it had something to do with the 240 volts and 110 volts.
No, nothing to do with that at all. No.
I must say, it must be disappointing for people who have the seal, because that battery, 82 kilowatts, and charging at 7 kilowatts must be so slow. But yeah, that is disappointing that they didn't bring that out on the larger battery seals.
Well, there's for home charging, I think it's enough. It's more that if you're trying to get an AC charge at a destination when you don't have as much time as you have at home, but you've got more time you've got at a rapid charger. But yeah, as I said, the UK you can get 11 kilowatt in the
so Greg's saying that what we're saying basically is that the Australian customer feedback is crucial to BYD's success.
Yeah, I think
so.
Look, they're a company that does listen to people, because they have actually improved their software over the time. And I think they did run a focus group, actually, where they contacted some people who own the cars and asked them their opinion of the cars. So there is that ability to want to improve. So it's just a matter of getting our ideas to them, and maybe they can do something.
So we just got to make.
Sorry. Someone said, no, it's 7 kilowatt per phase, 3 times 7 equals 21. Yeah, but in BYDs they only put 3.6 kilowatts per phase in the units in the car, even though the incoming power can do 7.2 kilowatts, which is 21.6, which is close, rounds up to 22.
Yeah, 21 kilowatt inverter, that'd be quite a chunky piece of equipment, wouldn't it, Ian? It's under the bonnet.
Yeah.
Overall, but it's just, is it worth it? Generally, most. But some brands offer 22. That the BYD does offer 11. I'm sure they put 22 in some of the cars, but I haven't seen it in the export ones. I've only seen 11.
So
7 or 11.
Just getting back to feedback, Deborah says that they do have questions like, has your issue been resolved? Click here for feedback. I think we just got to be careful that when we go to BYD, we're not seeing as whinging. We're just seeing as being constructive.
Yeah, I mean, what we want to do is we've got a whole lot of data on what features people are requesting that would positively reflect on the vehicles. How can we organise this, present it to you in the most helpful way for you?
Yeah, well, if we can get something together, if everybody wants to comment, and in a week's time we'll collate all that information, and I'm happy to pass it on to BYD at my local store or email it to them. Or
Yeah.
I'm
So,
happy to do it.
so this has got me intrigued. Ian, what do you think they mean here? What do you think John means here? An option to turn off cornering speed reduction. What does that mean?
I think it
Oh,
means
When you're on adaptive cruise,
Yeah.
when you're on adaptive cruise, it does slow for corners.
okay.
Okay.
Although, to be honest, I mostly find that it only works for me well if I'm following someone who's already slowing for the corners.
Oh, the second part of the sentence says having the car slow down for an insignificant bend. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I assume that they're thinking it's slowing down too much.
Yeah. No, it's worth recording
Mm.
that's been reported. There must be circumstances under which it applies, you know.
It would be great if the car would be smart enough to allow maximum PV. What's that mean?
I think they're referring to solar photovoltaic input. Yeah, I think you have to have a smart charger for that, don't you, Ian? If you want to maximise your solar input into the car,
Pretty
there's
much.
no.
There's nothing about the car that restricts it. It's really about the signal that it's fed as far as what is coming at a time. I mean, the car can only take it can only take an input of the ones here can only take an input of 7 kilowatts. It doesn't actually matter whether it's DC or AC; they can take either, because it runs straight into basically into a rectifier first thing it gets to the car. But
Having said that,
7 kilowatts coming in.
So why is
So-
it, Ian? Why is it when 7 kilowatts into the car, the maximum we can get is like 6.3? That's a big drop. I understand there's a 10% charging loss, but I guess
Well,
that's
there's
what
a couple of things. So, yeah, part of it's the charging loss. Part of part of it's whether it's running the heat pump to
Yeah.
keep the battery in check.
What about when you charge a Tesla, Ian? Do you know what charge you get into your car? How many? Do you get 7? Do you get 6.3?
No, you never know. It's just what it reports. The Tesla reports it at the reports pretty much the same setting you get at the supply.
Yeah, doesn't take in losses. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas the BYD reports what's in theory actually arriving at the battery.
Yeah.
But
sure.
the BYD also has a thing where it's taken the signal. I'm just thinking how it goes, because the car actually is the thing that determines what current it's going to draw, and the car draws a little bit less than it could. From the
Yeah,
signal.
I noticed that. Yeah.
It's slightly conservative on what it draws. So not only is the reported value the bit that's going into the battery, which makes it look low, but on a lot of settings, it actually takes less than the signal tells it could take. Just a little bit less. It's like it's BYD's just conservative on everything, and it's like another case of them being conservative.
Yeah, they're even conservative on a 25 kilowatt jolt charger. So it says it delivers 25. The charger says, I'm giving the car 20. The car's only asking for 23, and then there's only 21 going in. And I'm thinking, man, this is such a slow charger already, and you're still scaling back. I don't understand why. But anyway,
Well,
Can you see what Paul says, Chris? Can you see what Paul says? I get 6.4 occasionally, 6.5, Chris. Maybe I shouldn't whinge.
that's right.
Look, someone just had up here, we could use Google voting. Where did that go?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I'm sure we'll organise something. So that's nearly 9 o'clock now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there's various ways to build a form that people can vote on.
yeah, I agree with Greg Ponting.
So do I. Yeah, good one, Greg. Okay, look, I think we're going to wrap it up. So, any last minute comments, Chris?
If Ian Ogilvy's right, I'm looking forward to some new software. So if that can come, I'll be very happy.
Yeah, when is the question and which bits we get when. The ADAS is the thing that they're saying is supposed to come first, but that doesn't. There's a lot of things that doesn't fix.
Yeah, it doesn't really. I'm happy with my ADAS settings. I don't think I'm overly. I know the seals were really bad. That first version of software they had was terrible. So, but in the Atto 3, I think mine's not too bad in that regard.
Well,
It's a long way to make a difference for me. It's got to step up a lot before it'll give me any real benefit.
Yeah. So look, I'd like to thank everybody who participated today, and assure everyone that we will be going through everybody's comments, and we will be looking at those. That we will put up some form of voting that we'll be offering to all BYD owners, particularly in Australia, but elsewhere as well, to vote, and that we'll put those genuine comments to BYD for their feedback. Even if they only fix a couple of things, that'd be great. If they use as input for E&O's new software that's going to be coming, that'll be good as well, won't it?
It was an undertaking to write it.
Oh, mate, I've retired anyway. Yeah, okay, well, thanks, everybody. And we will get back to you.
I've just got one question, Ian. Will there be a show next Tuesday night, and what will it be on?
Yes, so, there are a number of things that we've decided, haven't we, Ian, that we're going to be talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I think you came up with.
One of the ones you were floating for next week was the one on whether things will slow down with Trump and things like that.
No. The actual thing you said is, what if Trump gets elected? What will the impact be on EVs?
Well, I think there's an impact on the fact that he might get elected already.
I think he's going.
Factor in he might. So they're doing in America they're doing a strategy of allowing for the possibility.
So do you see that as a bad thing?
What they do now in the lead up.
Do you see that as a bad thing?
Their stated policy that he's going to walk away from anything that moves away from oil.
Yeah, well,
so it's going to be next week. Is that what we're saying?
So next week. But what he did say is, if someone wants to buy an EV, they buy an EV. If someone wants to buy a diesel car, they can buy a diesel car. He's saying, I don't care what you buy, just go and buy it.
Yep, politics.
Anyway, so I'll put out a preview as to what the next things. We're also going to be talking about what BYD are bringing out. The Seal U and the Ute and all that as well. So there's going to be quite a number of things we're going to be talking about. Anyway, so guys, I'll just end the stream now. Well, thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time. You want to say goodbye, guys?
Bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for putting up with us, and I hope we can educate people. BYD Atto freeze.
They're educating us, mate. They're educating us.
We've got to educate the channels in at BYD.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
See you all.